You showed some statistical data in the other room, some slides. Can you just talk a little bit about that, first of all, if you don't mind?
I will. One of the things we were obviously tracking, not only in the SEC but nationally, was targeting fouls, and we really tracked how many fouls there were, how many overturns. But the point was, did our rule change take effect? Was it having the impact that we desired last year? And I think as I watched video, I think clearly it made a difference. We could see where players would pull up, where in the past they'd go ahead and deliver a hit, where now, the change in targeting made them a little less likely to deliver a blow that didn't need to be there. And then really, on top of that, we could see them lowering their target. But as you analyze the numbers in the SEC, we had 19 total targeting fouls in a 15-week season. So if you break it down, in the first 8 weeks of the season, we had 14 targeting fouls, and then in the last 7 weeks, we only had 5. So I think you could begin to see a change in the player behavior. I hope that trend continues, but that's really the data that we saw coming from last year.
Steve, with obviously the goal being player safety and so much being put on concussions and things of that nature, what's the next step? Is there going to be another rule? Is it limiting contact and practice during the week? What's the next eventual step?
Well, it's a great question because we're making a slight adjustment to the targeting rule this year, where now, last year if a targeting was overturned, we still enforce the 15-yard penalty. Now this year, if it's targeting only, we will not enforce the penalty, and if it's overturned by the replay booth. So I think that was, I think everybody felt like that was a very fair change. But we're not going to let up in the focus and intensity of our officials. We look at video every year, and we're just now learning. Doctors are just beginning to learn and unlock secrets of what causes a concussion, what's the long-term, short-term impacts. And so we don't know all those answers, but I think we do know that when we can minimize that, we want to do that. And I think the NCAA has done some things from guidelines around practice. And so, but there's a lot of learning left out there. But I think, when you put together the referees, the players and the coaches working together around targeting hits and really dangerous contact fouls to the head, that's where we've made progress, still more to come, but I think that's making a difference.
Steve, with the decision to experiment with the eighth official, was there certain types of call you were getting feedback from your crews that they thought they were missing and they thought they were overlooking because they might be down a man, the extra man might help them out?
Well, clearly the eighth official, I think the misconception, everybody thinks that we're adding an eighth official to go faster and faster and faster, and that's not the case. The eighth official helps you in an up-tempo environment officiate the game better. The challenge that we were having is having all of our officials set and ready and be able, really more than just set and ready, but to be able to do their pre-snap routine. And the eighth official, which we're calling the center judge, and he'll work opposite the referee in the offensive backfield, the first thing you'll notice is he'll spot the ball on every play. What that does immediately, it frees up the umpire to basically get into his position and do his count. He's got to count the offense, note the offensive formation, and then begin to lock in on his keys. Now he'll be able to do that on every play because he won't be the person spotting the ball and then having to interact with the referee on substitution. So, and now that this guy's spotting the ball every play, frees up the wing guys. But the other thing, and this is a subtle difference, but what you see is now that we have, the game changing to the spread and more receivers out, we're seeing a lot of plays where 5 receivers go out, on routes. And we have 3 deep officials, 2 wing officials, that's 5. They all have keys. If all 5 guys are out on route, those guys are occupied. And really the third official helps the referee and umpire officiate, everything that's up there in the middle.